Welcome to Fabricville. Today we're going to sew this kid's swim set, a pair of shorts, and a UV protection shirt perfect for enjoying summer worry-free. I made this using the McCall's M6548 pattern. For the top, I chose this 4-way stretch printed jersey, and for the bottom, I'm using this lightweight, flexible fabric with UPF 50+ protection. For materials, besides your basic sewing supplies, I recommend using a 4-thread serger for assembling the shirt and finishing the shorts. For the hems on the shirt, we'll use a twin needle. You'll also need a 4 cm wide piece of elastic and a small piece of interfacing. Let's get started. We'll begin with the shirt. I lay out the back, front, and sleeves on the table. Then I pin the armholes. I assembled them using the 4-thread serger. Now I layer the back and front pieces right sides together. I sew the side seam and sleeve seams in one continuous stitch, still with the serger. I press the seam allowances toward the back. Next, I prepare the neckline band. I fold it in half, lengthwise, right side in. I sew the short ends together. I press the seam, then fold the band in half, widthwise, wrong side in, and press again. I mark the quarters on both the band and the neckline to match them up when pinning. The neckline band is a bit smaller than the neckline, so it fits without gaping once sewn. I sew the band onto the neckline. To finish the shirt, I press the hems on the bottom and sleeves. I sew the hems with a twin needle to keep the fabric stretched while finishing the folded edge neatly. Now moving on to the shorts. I pin the back pieces right sides together at the crotch seam. I do the same for the front pieces. And I stitch them. Then I finish the raw edges together with a serger. I press the seam allowances to one side. I cut a piece of interfacing the size of the front waistband piece. I fuse the interfacing onto that piece. Next, I press one of the long edges of the waistband inward. I pin this waistband piece to the top edge of the front shorts piece. And I stitch it. I press the seam allowance upward, then fold the waistband over, wrong sides in, and press again. On the back piece, I fold the seam allowance inward and press. Then I fold the edge according to the fold line on the pattern and press. I top stitch close to the edge and again close to the seam. I do the same for the front, which will create a casing. Using a safety pin, I thread the elastic through this casing. The length is suggested on the pattern, but I can adjust it after trying it on. I pin the ends of the elastic on the sides and sew them in place. Now I lay the back and front shorts pieces. I pin the side seams and the inseam. I stitch them. I finish the raw edges together with the serger, and I press the seam allowances toward the back. Now I prepare the pocket. I start by pressing the top edge inward by 6 mm. Then I fold the pocket right side in along the fold line. I sew the corners. I clip them, turn the pocket right side out, and press. I also press all the seam allowances toward the wrong side. I top stitch the pocket's top edge with 2 parallel lines. I position the pocket on the right leg according to the pattern markings. I pin it, and I top stitch in place. To finish, I sew the bottom hem. And there you have it, our set is ready. This is a quick project, and once you have the pattern, you can easily make this design in all kinds of swim fabrics you like. Thanks for following along, and see you soon!